Okay, it is now into May of 2025. I thought I'd do a new introduction video a little bit differently. So this is going to be a long video, but it's going to be my introduction video a little bit to me. The person behind Alanaartdream that's on YouTube. Well, this is Alanaartdream Australia here on TikTok, but it's Alanaartdream to most of my other accounts. I had a Twitter at once, but I kind of abandoned that for Blue Sky instead. Because, I mean, some of you guys, Twitter or X or whatever it's calling itself, I've left it there. I still have it there, but it's sort of abandoned it, so I haven't gone to it. I have an Instagram. I also have a Tumblr. I have two Tumblrs. I have one that's a reblog one, but my main one is Alanaartdream is my main one where I do art and sometimes talk about my hobbies and stuff like that. A bit more introduction to me. This is Alana. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I live in Australia. My mom's from Germany. I had a lot of trouble learning to read and write as a kid, so my spelling is not exactly great, and my grammar's probably not awesome, but I love to read, though I had a lot of trouble with it in the past. I collect a lot of things here and there. I try to keep that on the down low, though, because as a millennial, I'm going to give you a room tour after this. I do a lot of drawing on the sides. I have a lot of things I like to collect but I never finish the collections like big wise because I live in Australia, so sometimes trying to get things here that I like don't always make it here. So I don't know. Trying to collect stuff here in Australia is a little bit harder than collecting stuff over in America. I can tell you that now. I think Melbourne's only just recently started getting a Sanrio shop, something coming in, where I live in the Sydney part. So I don't know if Sydney starts getting the Sanrio stuff as well. It'll be interesting because Sydney's kind of like our tourist hotspot, sort of. Melbourne's the next one, and then Gold Coast has become a big one now because the Bluey show is being done over there. It's done in the Gold Coast, but I live in the Sydney, so New South Wales part. Gold Coast is Queensland. That's where we sometimes jokingly call it the party state. So Queensland's the where it's happening, but also Melbourne's the other one. But Melbourne's got more of a European feel for it. So Melbourne's more in Victoria. So that's downwards. So New South Wales is in the middle of those two. So you got Queensland up there, and you got Melbourne down there, and in the middle is New South Wales. And then next to us is, I forget the state. I know in the middle of Australia is another state, top of my head, but I mean, we have quite a few states here in Australia, but anyway. I am a millennial, so I'm a Leo as well, so Leo, millennial. I was a very, very late 80s baby, but I was definitely a 90s kid and a early 2000s teenager, whereas now I'm a millennial because of that, so I'm not sure how to explain all that, so that might give you an estimate that I am not young anymore, but I dabble a little bit in drawing. I like to draw every day. That sort of keeps my attention deficit hyperactivity going. I have to do exercises now every day too because I have a bad back and neck because of all the drawing that I like to do on the sidelines and reading. So, and playing a few Pikmin Bloom game on my phone. So I play that constantly at the moment. I haven't touched my Switch in a while. There are some Pokemon games I actually liked to play on there for a while. I haven't finished it, but I did like to started it. I do like cats. I still have my cat Arthur, but recently I lost my cat Millen. He was very old and very sick. He was on medications because we couldn't have surgery for him anymore because he was getting too old for surgery. But then at the end, medication just wasn't helping him anymore. So, hence, I mean, we did what the vet recommended. The vet recommended the medications, and it didn't work out anymore. So we've lost him early. But we still have our young one Arthur. I am thinking about getting another cat for Arthur because he's a young cat and needs a friend to play with. But I have to be careful introducing another cat to another cat because some cats don't always get along with other cats. So, but good thing Arthur is a very young cat because he's not even 3 years old yet. He's only 2 years old. He will be 3 in September. So I have to save up some money, but I know I'm definitely going to go to a pet shelter for my next cat because, I mean, if you're going to go for a purebred though, I'm not going to go against anyone who goes for those. But you have to make sure you go to someone who has all the paperwork down for instance, like a responsible pet owner here in Australia and a responsible breeder would make sure you have all your paperwork to do, like, would have the microchip done, because every cat now has to have a microchip here in Australia. It's a thing, every single one. And pet shelters, usually the expense of what you're getting for your cat or your dog from a pet shelter is you're paying for the desexing and the microchip, basically, and maybe half of their shots. So you have that all in there as part of what you're paying for. Whereas with a breeder, you're paying a little bit extra because they have to do all the paperwork themselves. They have to make sure they have the microchip. You have to make sure you see both parents. If you're going to go for a breeder, you have to make sure you see both parents. Sorry, I'm like lecturing you guys. This is not what you come here for. But if, like with Arthur, and you have to make sure they don't give you the kitten too early, because, you have to make sure you see both parents. You have a good temperament. They socialize the kitten very well. Pet shelters, I think, would be a better option for me, because I start realizing I'm at least make sure the cat chooses me, whereas sometimes you don't get to choose the cat you're getting when you go for a breeder. It's sort of like you put in what you want, but they'll sort of like, But anyway, my next cat, if I get another one for Arthur to have as a friend, because my cat I have at the moment is a ragdoll. I'm definitely going for a pet shelter, because I usually get most of my cats before Arthur were all like moggies and things. They were rescue cats. So Arthur's the only one I have that's not. So just my understanding, but it was a proper breeder. She did have paperwork and she did get a microchip, but I had to desex him myself. A proper breeder would make sure the cat is desexed before you get him, because unless you're gonna breed as well, then it's a lot of paperwork. You have to have your paperwork. Now Arthur has all his papers, but I would recommend going to a shelter first and seeing if you can find a cat or a dog who's a bit more than. Anyway, back to me. I do dabble in a little bit of drawing here and there. One of my sisters, I have two sisters, one of them's gonna have a kid this year. I have a lot going on this year. Is a bit of an artist herself. The other one works for a hotel chain, but I don't want to show them off here because they like to be a bit more private. But I do have two sisters. I live with my mother because both of us are single. Yes, my mom's single, but she's in her late 60s, so I don't think she's interested in dating anyone anymore, because she said she already did that and she was happy to have what she had, but she's not going to do it again because she doesn't get us kids. But Dad was giving her a bit of a hard time, like during the divorce. I think he got a little too much. He was a very selfish man. I mean, he's not a terrible father, but he can be a very selfish man sometimes. So she never says anything bad about getting us. Like I said, we still should be like, he's still your father and stuff like that. So she never says anything against him. But I can tell my dad's a little bit selfish in some regards. So, anywho, that's my dad. I have my own issues there. Anywho, as I said, I'll give you a room tour in a minute. And sorry you heard me rambling the whole time, but yeah, as I said, I'm a millennial. And I'm a bit of a hobby artist, so I draw a little bit. Mostly cartoonish characters. I don't like drawing backgrounds and stuff like that, but if I have to, I will probably draw it. I will give you now a room tour of all the stuff I can somehow collect and all over the place. But introductions to some bits about my life. Yeah, I had recently lost one of my cats. Early April. So that was still something to put together. But I still have one cat. I'm planning maybe another one, but it seems too soon to go and get another one. But I don't want to be too late either, so it's. Oh, anyway, I have show you around the room then, hey? Before I show you the room, this is my one cat, Arthur. Isn't he a gorgeous boy? Yes, you're a gorgeous boy. Just a little show you Arthur. This is my ragdoll Arthur. He's a chocolate point. Yes, look at those pretty blues. All right, room tour. Sorry if it's a bit of a mess. As I said, I collect a whole lot of things. I like My Little Pony, Pikmin, Choco Cat. Here's some Samurai characters. I especially like Choco Cat, but I also like Little Ghost Guy. And we got some other drawings, so we've got other things. Here and there, Care Bears are definitely around My Little Pony. There's some dolls in here. This is the first doll case, and then got some other collections. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, My Little Pony. There are some dolls in here. Got some other dolls here and there and stuff. Some Care Bear stuff. Other things that I make. Hobbies and stuff. As you can see, this is the bed. It's the bed with some of the Care Bears and other little things. Got matcha cheese, my desk over there. Sorry, that's a mess too. Some of my bookshelves with other little mix and snacks. Manga. I collect a lot of manga. I do love to read. You can see bits and pieces everywhere. Everywhere, like thing. Manga. Another bookshelf. Some drawings from me and from others. Another collection of drawers and desks. Cubie dolls. And the last one we go through some other doll collections and some trolls. And yeah. So you can see a little bit of everything. Even some Legos here and there. That's the bedroom. Thank you for watching, and that's me all together.